This is Sid and Friends in the morning.
77 WABC.
Still the one. One Israel Fun, big gala coming up tomorrow night. Love this song, Orleans. Still the one. So I spent my night last night, not in Nassau County, Suffolk County, but Long Island. Nevertheless, here he is, the great Congressman. I always say the best politician in my lifetime, him and Giuliani, the great Peter King. Pete, good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing fine, sir, but I have some tough love news for you. There are some really disappointed women in Nassau County. I was at the special detectives dinner the other night that you had been invited to, and people like Lee and Laureen were waiting for you. They waited all night. It's one thing if you want to, hurt people like me or Fenton or anyone, but those women, they're in love with you, and you just left them like that. You ruined their Christmas and everything. I don't know. You have a lot to atone for.
Well, I will say this to those lovely ladies, and I do love them too, and I believe Danielle and I came to that dinner last year, had a great time.
Yes, you did.
That old steakhouse.
That made it worse. Once you started now.
I know. Yeah. But just so they know.
They're addicted to you.
I can't blame them. They're only human, Pete. I was invited that night also, just so they know, to the big New York Young Republican dinner, which I attended last year with Trump. You remember that, by Gavin Wax. I didn't go to that either. So I was just completely exhausted. But I love those ladies. And your ears must have been ringing last night because here I am on the floor accepting this beautiful, prestigious honor from Lou Cervello, who, of course, runs the Suffolk County PBA. He's a terrific guy.
Great guy.
I got Ray Tierney sitting there. I got Kevin. He was there for Ed Romaine, the Suffolk County executive. He couldn't make it last night. And what am I talking about? Pete King, Joe Cairo, Andrew Garbarino, and Anthony D'Esposito. How about that?
Okay, I forgive all your sins. That's great. Okay. All I care about is myself. In the end, I care about me. I learned that from you, Sid.
Well, let me ask you.
Thank you.
They were very nice to me last night. I walked in. Men were kissing me. The ladies were showing me the same love that your ladies do. So I said, it's close. Nassau County versus Suffolk County. Now, I know that when you guys are on, like Bruce Blakeman, for example, he talks about this kumbaya, you love each other. But I feel like it's like the cops and the firemen used to be, that there was a legitimate sibling rivalry between the two counties, and you believe your county is the better one.
Yeah, I do, and there was that rivalry, but let me just tell you, since Jesse Garcia became the leader in Suffolk County, Joe Cairo in Nassau County, they work together as a hand in glove, and they any issue that involves agreement, they make it. They find a way to get it done, and so Suffolk has never had better results than it's getting right now. Nassau has never had better results between Cairo and Garcia. They're doing a great job. Eddie Romaine out there is a great, great county executive. Tierney is doing a terrific job. The county legislature with Kevin McCaffrey. These are all solid people. And, of course, in Nassau, we got Bruce is doing a great job. Pat Ryder. Joe Cairo is managing the whole thing. And, we saw you. Joe went into Queens last week, for the dinner with Vicky Palladino, where you and Curtis spoke, and Tom Kniff was there. And I tell you, Vicky's done a great job. So we have right now some really great local leaders. But Cairo and Jesse Garcia are great. Because I will always say Joe Cairo is the best, but both of them are really absolutely superb leaders. I'll be with Joe this afternoon and again tonight. Cairo is a big Republican dinner in Nassau County, a Christmas Hanukkah dinner, and it'll be well attended. And again, they're great guys. We are right now riding high, which means we got to make sure we keep working hard, stay on top of the issues because we still more registered Democrats and Republicans. We still have hostile media. So we have to stay on our game. But so far, Joe Cairo is getting the job done. And Bruce is running for re-election next year. I was with him last night. There was the police academy graduation in Nassau County for the Nassau County cops and sheriffs. Bruce was there, gave a great speech. Pat Ryder gave a great speech. And right now, I think for the first time in years, the actual number of cops in Nassau County has gone up to one of its highest levels in 20 years. That's because of Bruce. Others want to defund the cops. Bruce keeps adding more and more cops.
Yeah, and I want to thank Pat Ryder. He sent me a beautiful congratulatory text yesterday morning on getting my award. And I guess it turns out that his son was one of the people who graduated last night, right?
Yeah, his son, he has now he has two sons in the Nassau Police. The son, Sean, who was sworn in last night, was doing a great job with the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency. We wanted to be in Nassau County. And that's really, there is a real family tradition in Nassau, both actual blood members of families, but also, like last night, there were so many family members. They got up the stage. Every cop who was sworn in had a whole series of family members with them. So Pat encourages that. And the cops in Nassau really reflect the community, and they fight hard. And Nassau has, again, been judged the safest county in the United States.
Yeah.
And it's because they stand by their cops, and the cops agree.
Yeah. Well, two reasons. They stand by their cops, and we also must mention, we mentioned Ray Tierney, who I love, and Donnelly does a great job, too. But not only are there a lot of cops in Nassau County, but what they do is they bury the bodies in different counties. So, you know,
you can always go back to the west side of Manhattan if you feel lonely, you know. I know how happy you were up there.
No, thank you. But I say that kind of jokingly, but not, because Rex Uterman is back in the news, and I hate when he's in the news. I really do, because even though Ray Tierney did an amazing job, and Rodney Harrison when he was there too, I don't want to hear about this guy. This guy's a stain on an otherwise almost perfect Nassau County, right?
Absolutely. And even at the papers, they call him Rex, like he's some kind of a family member. This guy is evil. He's a monster. I give Ray Tierney credit, but let's not publicize this guy.
Right. It's almost as bad as it's almost as it's almost as bad as when me and Frank Morano mentioned your friend George Santos's new podcast this morning, right? Almost as bad.
Santos is out there. Let him do what he wants. I mean, he's over and done. But you guys can hang out with George Santos.
I didn't go, but I think Frank did. I was, for some reason, I thought I may see Stephanie Diller last night. I know it's Suffolk County, but, for example, Lisa Twizzolo, who was on this show last week, and she'll be back on Friday. Her husband, Paul, like John Diller, a cop, murdered in 2016. Lisa was in Disney with her two hockey sons last night. She couldn't make it, but her boyfriend, Michael Vandenberg, was there. But I thought maybe Stephanie would be there last night, but she wasn't. I don't know what she was doing. But
at least it's been 8 years. I think she's had time to adjust to this horrible tragedy. Stephanie Diller, it's really only, 9 months?
Yeah.
Her husband was murdered.
Yeah.
And I think it's, and now also, the Christmas season coming up, I think all the memories come flowing back. But she's a courageous woman. She's, again, what you really want to see. Sometimes when a tragedy occurs, family members don't often measure up to the standards that we set for them, even though we have no right to set those standards. But Stephanie Diller, she is first class. You and I were in the church that day. The eulogy she gave for her husband was absolutely phenomenal. From the heart, articulate, and just totally genuine.
You know what's funny about that day? You and Rosemary were great, and you have a beautiful house, and Danielle and I loved meeting you guys. O'Reilly came with us, and Stephanie was great. Even the former ousted police commissioner, Eddie Capon, I thought was terrific that day. He elevated Diller after his death to lieutenant and gave the son Ryan's birthday as his new shield number. But if I asked you to be honest, who gave the worst speech of the day in that church that day, what would your answer be?
I don't know. I only have good memories of the day. I mean,
get out of here! You thought the mayor had a good speech? He talked about himself.
No, okay. I wasn't even thinking of him. When you mentioned that, I didn't even think of him. No, I was thinking of Stephanie Diller. Right, Caban did a very good job, and it was just the day itself was so moving. I guess I blocked everything else out.
Sean Hannity's about to join me, and I speak to Sean. It's kind of weird. We speak a lot now, and the text conversations last like an hour. It's like it keeps going. And he's a former Long Island guy, and he has said to me more than once, he doesn't miss anything about New York. He is so happy to be in Florida, and he lived in a nice place, right? I mean, Long Island, very, very nice. He doesn't miss anything about New York. He's not alone. You know that. Even a beautiful place like Long Island, people can't wait to get the hell out of here. When you hear that, does that depress you?
It's unfortunate. I understand people's feelings, but I'm a New Yorker. I was, born in Manhattan, raised in Queens, went to school in Brooklyn, worked in the west side of Manhattan in the railroad yards. My father was a cop. I lived in his house in Seaford for 53 years. So I really identify with this. Listen, I can give you a million things that are wrong with New York. Not too many things wrong with Long Island. There's a certain flavor, there's a character, There's a fighting spirit that I love about New York. So I'm a New Yorker to the end. People can't get rid of me that easily. I love it here. I really do.
No, I know you do.
Yeah. All its imperfections, I love it. It's like, to me, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere.
I love it here, too. In fact, I love to criticize it, but I do love it here because, that's part of the reason why it's so great is there's so much you can criticize, and yet at the end of the day, it's still the most exciting city in the world, but it needs a lot of help. Listen, I want to thank you. Listen, we're family. You and I and Rosemary and Sean and Aaron, we're family. I get that. But you are such a huge part of this show. So this is it for us. Our last show is Friday. We'll be back in 2025. I want to extend a really personal thank you from all of us here on this show to you, Peter King, for being a great part of this show. We love you on and off the air. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the whole King family.
Thank you, Sid. That's likewise to me, to you, and everyone there, even Curtis. And again, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. We'll do it next year, and next year will even be better. We have big things next year for all of us, and Anthony D'Esposito will be coming back soon.
Oh, I hope you're right about that. Thank you, Peter. Excellent year, excellent job.